Hey everybody, Michael Snyder at California Weather Watch. Today is September 20th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the thunderstorms yesterday afternoon and evening across the Sierra Nevada and the state of Nevada. Upper level low tracking inland now across California, but we're going to bring this next trough down across the region. Might keep the thunderstorm threat going on in through Thursday until that system starts to kick off to the east. Taking a wider look at things here, you can see Tropical Storm Kenneth down here, and again that upper level low dropping into position here across California, Nevada, Idaho. And then we turn our eyes to the Pacific storm track. It's going to get active, and it could target Northern California here as well, even bring some precipitation as far south as the Bay Area. We'll look at those details here in a moment. Tropical Storm Kenneth here is expected to stay off to the southwest of Baja and just be a tropical storm. Shouldn't develop into a hurricane, but it could spread a little bit of moisture up towards California and Arizona. We'll look at that briefly here in a moment. This is if you want to be a part of the weather station giveaway coming up, go ahead and leave in the comment below weather station. You'll automatically be entered into the drawing. This will be sent right to your house. Highly recommended. Home personal weather station stores all the data for you in the cloud. And if you want to buy it outright, just click on the link down below to save 10% off. And take a look at that elevated fire danger here across some of Northern California. It does include Redding. There are some gusty winds and low relative humidities, generally above 2,000 feet, winds gusting 30 miles per hour. And yeah, don't burn during that time. This goes on through this evening through Thursday morning above 2,000 feet. Las Vegas and Phoenix are going to feel a nice cool down here. Some gusty winds out there, and it's kind of a nice break from the warm summer temperatures we experience. Of course, you know, Phoenix with a lot of days over 110. I think they set the record down there, and then the temperatures bouncing back as you move towards the weekend. But you could get some gusty winds, especially on Thursday at 40 miles per hour. And this is for Phoenix up there. Some nice overnight lows out there, and a little bit of a break from that very warm summer they had. On this day in SoCal weather history, again, the tropical systems, the plumes of moisture are the big headlines here. You can even see it delayed the Padres game by nearly 2 hours back in 2016. Here we go, day one thunderstorm, day two, and then kind of kicking off to the east as we turn our eyes towards the next Pacific system rolling in, which is going to be much wetter here for Northern California. Looking at the upper levels of the atmosphere, this is a nice visual representation of this upper level low dropping down over the area. Very cold air aloft across Oregon here, clipping California and Nevada. It is a fairly dry system until you move off to the east portion of that. You get better dynamics the further you go off across Nevada. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, some of Yellowstone get their first snowfall of the season. You might see some flakes across the higher terrain as well, but not a big snowmaker, just kind of a novelty this time of year. Always fun to watch the first snowflakes come in. And here's looking at the precipitation, what the Doppler radar would look like here if you were looking at it from a wider view. And you can see the low pressure spinning there. A few storms maybe kicking off across the Sierra Nevada as you go through Thursday, and then you can see the better dynamics off towards eastern Nevada there, Utah, Wyoming, Montana. As you can see, that wraparound moisture as that low pressure system takes its sweet time moving off to the east. And at the very end of the run, you can kind of see the next Pacific system coming. More on that here in a moment. This is looking at 10-meter wind gusts here. It could get gusty a bit across some of the higher terrain, the ridges, and you can see some of the northerly gusty winds coming across Northern California there, sparking that fire danger as well. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just have a heads up for that. Upper level is going to increase the gradient across the area. This is looking at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. So there goes that upper level low, kind of merging with this big upper level low here. Finally kicks out, and then we turn our eyes to the storm train coming in here to the Pacific Northwest. Looks like it's going to include Northern California, potentially even some precipitation down towards the Bay, but pretty good model agreement between the GFS on the right and the European on the left. I'm going to look into this in some more detail coming up here. Now, I want to address atmospheric rivers really quickly here because these can be beneficial. There's no reason to be alarmed by this terminology, atmospheric river. This could be bordering on moderate to strong here for portions of Northern California and for Oregon. And, you know, at this time of year, this is going to be extremely beneficial. Atmospheric rivers are life. You have to have water to live, right? It kind of sucks when it all comes at once and you get flooding concerns. But right now, this is going to be generally beneficial. And if I put the European into motion here, you'll see even a little bit of that moisture comes from that tropical system there and spreads across the region, but not much to speak about. And then you can see the atmospheric river coming for Northern California, Washington, Oregon there, and then maybe even another portion of that bent back occlusion there with that system could bring some more moisture in the extreme extended portion of the run. But you can see the GFS kind of disagrees a little bit in the placement with that upper level low and the strength of it, but you can see it still brings the atmospheric river there. But again, yeah, do not be afraid of the atmospheric river. Now, this is just kind of looking at, you can see the AR4 actually calling for across northern portions of California, AR5, but this is, again, going to be generally beneficial unless you drop a whole bunch of rain on burn scar areas. But for the most part, we need the rain to get those fires out. They've been burning persistently here. So yeah, embrace your inner atmospheric river. It generally depends on the time of year and the conditions. You know, if you're saturated and it's late in the winter season and you've been flooding and then you bring in a category 3, 4, 5 atmospheric river, obviously you're going to feel different about it versus an early season atmospheric river such as what's coming here in the next several days. And this is the northern hemisphere. You can see these atmospheric rivers are in motion always, at all times of the year across the planet. There are atmospheric rivers everywhere. It's nothing to be afraid of. Make the weather fun and be prepared. You're going to have a lot better time in life if you take the weather, you know, if you make it fun. You can be prepared. It doesn't do any good to worry about what's coming. You just, just be ready for it. This is looking at the precipitable water. I just kind of want to show you Tropical Storm Kenneth here, spreading some of that moisture back up over the region. It looks like precipitation, if any, would be very light with that. When we've been watching it for several days, so just thought I'd point it out. But you can see that next system here as it starts to roll into the west coast, bringing some potentially heavy rainfall for Northern California, maybe targeting right on those wildfires. And this is looking at that 24-hour running total. You can see a little bit of light precip kind of sneaking up over some of the desert areas, maybe bringing some cloud cover with it as well. So it may be quite nice, but you don't see any heavy rain associated with that. And then you can see that next Pacific system rolling into the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Now we're going to look at total precipitation in inches on the European ensemble mean. So this goes out quite a ways here, and you'll see I get some of these totals coming for Southern Oregon, Northern California on last night's European run. Maybe clipping some of the Bay Area here. We'll be watching this over the next couple of days. We'll try to pinpoint just what the impacts are going to be. As you saw, the GFS and the European kind of disagree in the trajectory of that atmospheric river coming in here, but they both have it. This is a probability of total precipitation over 1 inch. So if we scroll out and you see it come, check it out. Some pretty good odds here across Northern California into Southern Oregon. And this, now we're looking at 10-day plus, but yeah, pretty good precipitation probably incoming here, and hopefully targeting those fires here. There's several complexes of fires across Northern California and Southwest Oregon. This is the GFS, chance for 1 inch or more. This is last night's run, and again, pretty similar to what the European is showing, right? As we go out 10 plus days, you can see some of the cascades of Oregon, California, some of the higher terrain, and kind of targeting Northern California and Southern Oregon. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook through September 29th. West coast here below average, above average signal there. Check it out there in the bullseye right there on Northern California all the way through September 29th. And this is looking at, I wanted to show this one too, kind of a novelty. We'll look at in the fantasy land on the GFS, but this is last night's run. And look at some of these totals. It brings the initial surge in here. Crescent City, Southwest Oregon, big totals incoming. And then watch this, another shot here. I mean, you're talking about over 8-9 inches of rain on some of these fantasy forecast GFS deterministic run as of last night. Take that with a grain of salt, and we'll be watching this day by day, of course. This is Redding. Check it out. The control run had over an inch and a half in a 24-hour period and some juicy totals in there. But you can see there is some big disagreement with what exactly is going to come for Redding. You can see some of the ensemble runs don't have anything at all, and some are up over 2 inches. This is San Francisco. Could the front clip or the atmospheric river, could it clip San Francisco as well? Some of the models, some of the ensemble runs say it's possible. And this Crescent City here, look at much better odds. You can see all the ensembles have some kind of precip, and some of them are particularly juicy. And the control run had up over an inch and a half in a 24-hour period. Red Bluff here showing some precipitation. The control run was about 0.7 of an inch there, but you can see there is still some disagreement we got to work out. Truckee Tahoe showing that there is a chance to see some snowflakes with this upper level low dropping, but it's kind of been on the downtrend here. But yeah, it was never expected to be anything significant anyway. Kind of a novelty watching the first flakes fly. And Reno's kind of been backing off here as well. You might be lucky to see flakes at this point. There's that upper level low coming, and you can see this would be the surface at the bottom here. And the further you go up, the 700 millibars is about 10,000 feet. And chilly upper level low dropping across the region. And yeah, off into Nevada here as well. You can see that upper level low. Now, taking a look at the national blend of models, you can see we cool down a bit. Actually, let me back up a little bit here. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. So here we go for Wednesday. Check it out. You can see some mid-80s across portions of Nevada. Then you see the big drop that upper level low comes through on Thursday. So you'll feel it, in the atmosphere, cooling down, some gusty winds out there. But then we bounce back towards the weekend. So yeah, not too bad. You can see across some of the valley areas of California, you're going to cool down a bit, but it's nothing too crazy out there. But yeah, anyway, we'll be watching that atmospheric river here over the next few days. We'll nail down some more details. We'll try to see how that model agreement goes. But you could see as we went over the ensemble runs that the general agreement was Northern California, Oregon, Pacific Northwest. But yeah, pretty good odds we're going to bring some precipitation for some of those forest fire areas here across Northwest California. But we're going to do thunderstorms again today and probably tomorrow as well across the Sierra Nevada. So have a heads up for that. Some of the storms across Nevada and off to the east could be fairly strong here as well, and prolific lightning producers. But yeah, anyway, we'll continue to do this over, daily over the next few days. We're going to do that weather station giveaway. So leave weather station in the comments below. You can put any other comment you want, but if you put weather station first, it makes it easier for me to identify who wants to be entered into the draw. And then I'm just going to randomly draw it. You're going to have to trust me, and I'm going to tell you guys who the winner is. Probably by later on tonight or tomorrow morning. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll watch these systems roll in, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.